All right, so let's get started. First thing we're going to do is talk about how to invite staff. So if you have not done so already, go ahead and click your name at the top right and go to invite team member. Here you'll put in their first name, last name, email address, phone number, and then mark them as a producer. If they don't have their agency like official email address just yet, that's fine. You can put a personal email for now, and then they could always come back and change that. Phone number, you can put your office number here. At the bottom, you're going to send invite, and then they are going to receive an email asking them to set up their agency MVP account. Make sure they click the link in the email and set up their password so that they can get logged in. All right, next, we are going to go to your account information page. A lot of info on this page. We're going to go over a few things here. So account information. Is anyone purchasing internet leads from EverQuote? If you want to raise your hand. If not, we will skip the EverQuote. Okay, perfect. So for EverQuote, this is where you're going to find your lead integration so that those leads can start coming into your agency MVP account. Now, we only integrate with home and auto leads. We only integrate with home and auto leads. So if you are purchasing leads from EverQuote, go ahead and get logged into your EverQuote account. We're going to set up that, we can set up that integration together here, or you can just watch if you're not ready to get it integrated just yet. We also have this in video form. We also have it in document form. So if you don't want those leads coming in here just yet, you don't have to do this right now. You can always go back and watch the video. Okay, if you're getting logged into EverQuote, I'll give you a minute. While you are getting logged into EverQuote, let's talk about all the other lead providers. So we are integrated with all the major lead providers: Quote Wizard, Smart Financial, Hometown Quotes. Again, all the major lead providers. If you're purchasing leads from anyone else except EverQuote that we're integrated with, all you have to do is use the organization token. So you're going to click copy to clipboard, then go ahead and paste this token into the body of an email, send it to your rep, and ask them to integrate your leads with MVP. That's it. That's all you have to do to get those leads integrated. So back to EverQuote. If you're logged into your EverQuote account, let's go ahead and walk through how to set up that integration. So first, you're going to select your campaign. Then go ahead and click the blue pencil to edit your delivery settings. You can also go to settings right here. In your delivery settings, you are going to add lead management system. And then from the drop down, select agency MVP. Once you select agency MVP, you'll see this box for you to put that URL in. So in MVP, you are going to copy to clipboard. Oops. You're going to copy to clipboard for the EverQuote integration. And then that is the URL that you are going to paste into this box here. And then update your delivery settings. That's it. Once you do that, they'll start coming in. You do have to do this for each campaign. So if you're purchasing both home and auto leads, you'll have to do it for both campaigns. Again, we have this written and in video form. So if you didn't get to do it today or you want to do it later, you can do that later. And then once again, for every other lead provider we're integrated with, you're going to use the organization token and you're going to send that to your rep at the lead company. Okay, next we're going to scroll down to organization settings. please make sure that you have every box here filled in. If you do not fill in these bottom 4 boxes, well, and the address, if you don't fill those in, then Twilio, who is our texting provider, is going to filter the text messages that you send from MVP. They're most likely to get filtered as spam, which means they most likely won't be delivered. So make sure you fill in your legal business name, business type. If you have a tax ID or EIN, fill that in and put a website here. You do have to make sure that your business name is the same way, that it's written the same way that it appears on that tax ID form. Now the name here, this is what's going to appear like if you send a workflow and you have agency name in there, or if you're sending the quote comparison. So this can be whatever you want it to be, the name, but the legal business name does have to match that EIN form tax ID letter. All right, next, let's scroll down and talk about the assigned number. So as I mentioned, and as you most likely know, you do have texting included with Agency MVP. You get 3,000 text messages for free every month. And this is the number that those text messages are coming from. So we've purchased a phone number for you. This is the number that will appear whenever those households text back. Those texts are coming right into your MVP account up here where you see the little message icon. If they happen to call this texting number, it's just going to forward to the office line that you listed in your organization settings. And then lastly, all the way at the bottom, you'll see text message usage. So this is where you can monitor and keep track of how many messages you have sent for the month. It'll also show you the previous month. And after 3,000, you can go over 3,000. It's just after 3,000, we'll charge you 0.012 cents per message after that. Okay, any questions about this page? All right, well, let's get to the fun stuff then. Let's talk about workflows. So go ahead and click your name at the top right and go to workflows. So we have 3 types of workflows: API, custom, and XState. API workflows, these are for your API integrated internet leads only. These will automatically assign themselves as soon as the internet lead enters MVP, once you actually create the workflow. So you cannot manually assign an API workflow. Again, they're automatic when the lead enters MVP. Custom workflows, these can be assigned to any household. So we have like a lead re-engagement workflow or a customer onboarding workflow. You can create whatever you want with those custom workflows, and you can assign it to whoever you want in MVP. XState workflows, these are going to be based off of a renewal date. Most likely the current carrier renewal date, so who they currently have their insurance with. You do have the option to base these workflows off of your renewal date of a policy that you have already sold. So this would be super helpful if you're an independent agent and you want to follow up before their policy renews and kind of shop the rate again for them. That's mostly what that XState workflow would be used if you're targeting your renewal date. Now, these XState workflows can go out up to 45 days before and up to 45 days after a renewal date, and they can go on for up to 2 years. So they'll just keep going on. Now let's go ahead and create a workflow. So if you look over here at the top right, you'll notice that we have some workflow templates. So these are ready for you to use. We have an API internet lead one, we have a few custom and several XState workflows as well. Now for this example, let's go ahead and create an API internet lead workflow. I'm going to click on view, and if you can follow along, that would be great. If you are not purchasing internet leads, you can go ahead and create the custom new lead workflow. It's the same thing, except you can actually assign this to households. So if you're purchasing internet leads, go ahead and create this first one, the API one. If not, I would recommend the custom, or you can find another one. So I'm going to click on view. This is going to give me a preview of what that workflow looks like. So I can decide, okay, yes, I like it. I want to use MVP's templates. And then I'm going to click edit and use. Okay, now the name. I usually recommend just naming it whatever that lead provider is. If it's the custom one, I would just leave it new lead. So I'm going to say Smart Financial. Okay, so this is for my Smart Financial leads. Now you can only have one API workflow per lead source. So if you are purchasing both home and auto from the same source, that's fine, but they're all going to get the same messages in this workflow, which is still fine because they're all pretty generic. The purpose of these is just to get people to respond, right? We just want to kind of reel them in, their bait. We want them to say, yes, give me a quote. So this is my Smart Financial workflow. Next, I'm going to add that marketing source, which is the lead source. I'm going to look for Smart Financial. Here you can see a list of every lead provider that we are integrated with. And there goes Smart Financial. If you noticed, you saw a little lock here. That means I already have an EverQuote workflow. So that's why I can't have two workflows going on for EverQuote. Okay, so Smart Financial. And then next we have two options on what we want to do with these API leads as they come in. Now it defaults to distribute leads manually. That means that all my API leads are going to go into the API leads call view page, and every staff member will be able to see these leads. And then from there, you at your agency decide, how you want to break them up, distribute them, whether it's first come, first serve, or if you have someone assigning them. So that's one option. Now, if you choose distribute leads manually, you're going to want to select the names of the staff members that are going to be working these leads, so that if someone responds, they can be notified up here that someone has responded to a text message in a workflow. The other option we have is distribute leads evenly. So this is like our round robin option. This means everyone that's checked here, whenever that API lead comes in from Smart Financial, it's going to automatically assign it to that staff member. So they will see it in the My API Leads page. Now, what that will also do is any notifications will automatically go to that staff member who the lead was assigned to. So it's not going to notify everyone like it would with distribute leads manually. All the notifications will go to the staff member that the lead was assigned to. Here we have some email settings you can choose. So even if I do distribute leads manually, maybe I want those emails to appear like they're coming from me, the agency owner. But and then any replies, I want them to go to whoever the owner is. So you can do that. With distribute leads manually, definitely make sure you choose a reply to. If not, it just defaults to the agency owner. And that's pretty much the only thing that you guys are going to have to change. Here I see, or make changes to. Here I see action 1, it's a text message. It's going out immediately. So as soon as that household enters MVP, they're going to receive this text message. Now these brackets here, you don't have to touch anything there. That means we're using the variable field, these variable fields, and that information is going to pre-fill. So it's going to say, hey, Brady, it's the Perez agency, and so forth. That agency name, it's using the name and the organization settings that we talked about. And then action 2 is an email. Now, if you're purchasing home leads, you have 2 options. You don't have to do anything to this email, because if you're purchasing home leads, they're most likely not coming in with vehicles, which means if any of this is missing, we just will skip this action. Or your other option, if you're purchasing home leads, I would just remove the word auto, and I would remove this little paragraph here, and that's it. It'll still work that way, still makes sense now, and now it makes sense for home or auto leads. And this one is going out 5 minutes after the previous action. Then we have a text message 1 day after the previous action, and they just keep building upon the previous action all the way until action 7. Now you will notice there's an option here. Once the above actions are complete, switch to the following XState workflow. So if someone replies by text message, or if you log a phone call as answered or inbound, the workflow halts itself. Again, if you log a phone call as answered or inbound, or if they reply via text, no matter what that response says, the workflow halts itself, because at that point, it's done its job, you've spoken to them. If they reply by email, that is going to whoever the owner of that lead is. If it doesn't have an owner, the reply is going to the agency owner. And since we don't have access to your email, you would have to come in and manually halt that workflow yourself. Now, let's say we have a lead and it gets through all 7 of these actions, right? And it was never halted, whether manually or automatically. You can have the household automatically switch to an XState workflow. And then, so after that action 7 is complete, it'll automatically move to an XState workflow. Now you have to create the XState workflow first. You won't see anything here if you don't have any created. In this instance, I'm going to choose the auto XState no contact workflow, and then you can update your workflow. If you're buying home leads, I would choose the home XState no contact workflow. If you're buying both, just pick one. So make sure you click update. Once you click update, the next lead that comes in, they're going to start on that workflow. Again, we do have workflow templates here. So we have the auto XState no contact, the home XState no contact. These are going to be the ones that you want to use for to attach to the API workflow, because again, if they switch to that workflow, we're assuming we have not spoken to them. So you can create these the same way, just view, edit, and use template. It's already set for you. Home renewals, competitor quote. You can choose notification settings, and that's it. There's nothing else you got to change here. Email, action 1 is an email 45 days before their renewal. Action 2 is a text message 35 days before renewal, all the way until action 7, which is 10 days after their renewal. Once you update that workflow, you'll now see it in that drop down. All right, if you have any questions about workflows, feel free to put them in that Q&A box. The last thing I want to show you guys, what you're going to want to do, is to create your custom signature. So click your name at the top right and go to My Account Settings. On this page, you're able to create an email signature. This will be attached to those workflows, the emails in those workflows, or whenever you send the quote comparison via email. You can copy and paste the signature you already have in your email and put it here, or you can work on a new one, but make sure you do that. You can test it to see what it'll look like. It just looks a little nicer when those emails are going out. All right, resources. We have a live chat here at the bottom right. That is the best way to reach us. If you ever have any questions, please encourage your staff as well to use this live chat. We also have our MVP University and our help desk. So this is where you're going to go to complete the rest of your MVP training. So if you click your name at the top and go to help and support, you'll see here we have guides, MVP University. So if you click on MVP University, today we did part of this agent training. There is still some more information here that we didn't go over, such as importing leads. So if you have a list of leads you're wanting to import, definitely check out that video. We have written directions as well. We can also do it for you. So you'll find that information there. But as far as the rest of the training, you guys are going to want to start off with MVP 101 and MVP 201. So make sure you guys go through that. I actually just did a webinar last week, a basic training webinar that just goes all the way through. So if you go all the way at the bottom to recorded webinars, you'll see it right here. It's about 30 minutes, and I just go over all the basics, how to add in a lead, using the quote comparison, etc. So this would be a good start as well for you guys. All right, so I'll put some resources up here. If you have not already joined our private Facebook group, the name of that group is Agency MVP-members only. I highly encourage you guys to join. Sometimes we do like contests where you can win a free month of MVP, or we give away gift cards. It's also just a great place for you to talk with other agents that are using Agency MVP as well. All right, so I'll stick around for another 2 minutes or so in case you think of any last questions. If not, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Thank you, Miracle. Okay, question. If you change or update the automatic responses, will it work for new leads or all leads for the future? So if you, I think you mean like if you make a change to your workflow, is that what you mean? Yes, so if you make a change in your workflow from that point forward, whatever else comes in, but let's say like you make a change to action 4, and someone is already on this workflow, but they haven't gotten to action 4, they'll see that change. You're welcome. All right, have a great day, Dana.